It's Nolan.
Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Ayy, I've been waiting for something for me to snap on. Graduated from the freestyle, stay with a cap on. Black on, been in my publishing for these rap songs. Making whack nigga back off, let the cash grow. 5 in the morning, I'm up with my baby, no sleeping. Clown niggas, y'all Barnum and Bailey, I'm creeping. Got an army with me, now it's a Navy, so y'all better pay me like K-Dot, them arms to be waving. I had a couple brushes with devils, quiet as kelp. I'm charging for air, you boys talk under your breath. God is my witness, he with me, and he counting my steps. So anybody riding with me, y'all should double your bets. I chose W's, like Aisha Wilson out this bitch. Nigga argue about the gold, I want a Billy out this bitch. I been counting more cheese like a Philly in this shit. A verse hard white like I'm breaking down a brick. Ratchet on me like the repo man. They done brought me back to life like Encino man. Ran off with the yams like a elope man. I got dealt with the chip, I'm the Frito man. I want millions, Benzes, numbers up senses. Nigga try to count me out, now I want vengeance. 100 rat taught me how to run it back. Clemson, all I do is work in my city, I need pension. Somebody said it'd be disrespectful to rap on it. I'm by business, y'all niggas ain't got the acumen. Immaculate, I've been adamant with these savages. The flow is so extravagant, extrapolating arrogance. Thought it ain't drop yet. Bitch, I got plans too. Nigga wanna scrap about it, bitch, I got hands too. Y'all man got a nigga twisted like a can too. I clean him out like shampoo. I pity y'all some damn fools.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, commentary, entertainment, and breakdowns. I think I messed it up a little bit, but it's all good. We are back. Now, I want to thank all of the new subscribers, man. We on our way to 22K. We were just at 20 yesterday. We now at 21,357. I greatly appreciate y'all. I don't know what it was that hit the algorithm with that academics trying to sabotage the halftime show, but that video is on its way to 35K overnight. Again, I appreciate all the new viewers, all the new subscribers. I don't take that lightly. Now, today we're going to be talking about Dave Free coming out and speaking on the Super Bowl halftime show. As we all know, Dave Free doesn't speak very often. We already know Kendrick Lamar don't speak out very often. We heard from him last week, the most that we've heard from him in years, right? Just yesterday in another separate video, we talked about some of the intentionality and the thought process going into the halftime show and the set and the stage production. But now we have Dave Free coming out and speaking directly, of course, Kendrick's best friend, Kendrick's business partner, PG Lang. So now we're getting directly to the source, the only source next to Kendrick that can really speak with authority, right? So he has an interview with the Wall Street Journal, and we're going to go ahead and check that out. All right, so we're here on the Wall Street Journal, and it says here, the making of Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show, how the rapper pulled off one of the riskiest performances in recent history, delivering a diss track to Drake for an audience of millions. Okay? They say, they started off, would he play it? The question hovered over the Super Bowl even after Kendrick Lamar had kicked off the halftime show. The rapper knew exactly what his audience wanted to hear, teasing snippets from Not Like Us, his most famous diss track from a nearly year-long public beef with fellow rapper Drake. Audience anticipation crescendoed toward a climactic, thundering performance of the Grammy-winning song featuring a dancing Serena Williams. Dave Free says, we wanted this performance to have a cinematic and theatrical element to it. Okay, and of course, he's the director of the creative agency PG Lang, which he founded with Kendrick Lamar. In an interview ahead of the show, he says, we can confidently say that there's no Super Bowl performance that's quite like this one. That's an understatement. A Pulitzer Prize winner, Lamar is the first rapper to headline a Super Bowl halftime show on his own, blow. And his creative team wanted to make a statement with the historic performance. Free said that the show was meant to evoke the Black experience in America. Samuel Jackson, the legendary actor, introduced the show dressed as Uncle Sam, and dancers dressed in red, white, and blue formed an American flag in the middle of the field. So these are photos from behind the scenes of them coming together talking. Lamar's path to the Super Bowl stage began with a call from Jay-Z. Yeah, let's get to it. Let's talk about how Hov made the call. Yeah. We would love to know. We just did a a video talking about Desi Perez and her thought process after getting the call from Jay. Let's get a little closer. Okay, so it began with a call from Jay-Z. Free said, as the NFL's live music entertainment strategist, Jay-Z plays perhaps the biggest role in deciding who performs at the halftime show. In 2022, Lamar was part of a halftime medley with Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, and Eminem, performing hits like All Right. Free said he wasn't sure Lamar would be asked to perform at the game again so soon, but it felt like the right time for us. At least 1,000 people spent hundreds of hours working on the show, Free said, from crew members and production designers to people like choreographer Charm LaDonna, who oversaw 110 dancers. They had over 100 monkeys on that stage, all in unison, doing what they needed to do. And head of wardrobe, Carissa Sanchez. For inspiration, Free and Lamar watched every single Super Bowl halftime performance. So they went and actually sat through all of these motherfuckers. And they say, drawing particular cues from Beyonce, Prince, and Michael Jackson's headline shows, which I'm not surprised, especially when you take that's a crazy big three right there. But we'll continue. Shout out to Charm LaDonna. They say the feel of it is Black America, Free said of Lamar's show. What does Black America look like, and how to control that narrative of what it means to be Black in America versus what the world's perspective of that is. And of course, for Black people, that is the great American game. How do you get ahead in life? How do you do something that is going to be beneficial to yourself and your family while also dealing with the pressures of the outside world and the limitations that the world tries to put over you, those glass ceilings that we're forced to try to break out of? That message threaded through details like wardrobe and choreography. Sanchez and Lamar wanted nods to Los Angeles and street culture and less uniformity for background players. Everything has to be choreographed, even the unseen moments with camera. Choreographer LaDonna said. The performance is televised, just like the Revolution, I would suppose. But it's also for the people in the audience, so every moment matters and it has to be right. Of course, you got to take the people actually at the game into consideration and make sure that they're visually entertained while we're being visually entertained, because they can see everything where we're seeing the focus points, right? The Super Bowl halftime show is no ordinary live show. Production designers had to consider factors such as protecting the stadium grass. We talked about this yesterday. And making sure the air quality wouldn't be adversely affected by special effects. Now, that part we didn't get into. They say to keep the weight of the sets light, designers used aluminum and steel frames. Our stages and scenic elements are all pushed into the stadium and onto the field by almost 500 stage hands. We did kind of get into that because Bruce Rogers spoke yesterday with Wired. A production designer. Lamar's performance marks Rogers' 19th Super Bowl halftime show, his first being 2007 when Prince headlined, and we know how much Kendrick loves Prince. Every part of the set had to be assembled within 8 minutes. Rogers said we went over that as well. An hour before the first half of the game drew to an end, the stage hands pushing carts filled with equipment weighing about 3,000 pounds lined up outside the stadium. At the 2-minute warning, the crew began to haul the crates through the tunnels. We talked about Mike Carson yesterday as well. As soon as the players cleared the field, it turns into drill sergeants on megaphones. He started working with Kendrick in 2021. So, of course, they have a good working relationship. So at least they have that line of communication and kind of understanding. Okay. Designers were tasked with not only creating a dazzling display on the field, but also a show that could be taken in through dozens of strategic camera angles. Those watching at home may not see everything at once if the camera is close up on Lamar, but on the flip side, those watching from high up seats in the stadium may not catch the more intimate details. You're kind of serving two masters because there's 60,000 people there that have paid top dollar and are expecting a spectacle and an experience. On the flip side, you have millions of people that are watching at home, so you're creating almost two shows. Getting back to Dave Free, he said the team wanted to feature songs that will make viewers curious to learn more about Lamar as an artist. It wasn't about playing the hits, all right? Clearly it wasn't, because that's what we saw play out in our face. But it's nice to hear Dave Free come out and literally say that so people can understand it, get it, digest it, live with it, sleep with it, roll over, put a pillow, puff that motherfucker up, turn it over, get it cool on the other side. So you people out there that were mad about him not playing more of the earlier hits from his career can understand that that was not the intention of the show. So although you may feel like your vision of the show was a better idea, just understand they had a different playing field that they were on, okay? Except for one, of course. I want to perform their favorite song, but you know they love to sue, Lamar quipped during his set. In January, Drake filed a lawsuit against Universal Music Group, his and Lamar's parents' music label, calling Not Like Us defamatory, which is still blowing my fucking mind to think that this nigga is calling a diss record defamatory when he was going back and forth in a defamatory battle both parties agreed to engage in. When he finally launched into Not Like Us, he led the crowd in a sing-along of his most famous verse, trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor. The finale sent the stadium into darkness, revealing the phrase, "Game over," written against the crowd in lights. There was still half a game to go, but in his own battle, Lamar had crowned himself the winner because the rest of the game was not even entertaining. So who gave a fuck after that point anyway? Okay, and that is Ashley Wong with her piece with Dave Free. And this is, of course, Kendrick Lamar winning one of 5 Grammys last weekend. Good God. Among those in support of the show, we got a Instagram post from Spike Lee, who, if you have been familiar with Kendrick Lamar throughout his career, those early days when he used to do interviews, he always used to speak very highly of Spike Lee. Even some of his early videos had some sort of inspiration from Spike Lee. But Spike says this: "I want to thank my brother Kendrick for the 40 acres and a mule shout out," which I think is a little heavy handed. 40 acres and a mule, you know, I don't think he's shouting you out, but I'll continue, because he says, which has been the name of my production company since NYU grad film school. That part we do get. Well, I won't say that he's not shouting you out. I think he is twofold, because I do think there was some Spike Lee influence here with that show as well. And I saw some people that pointed that out on social media. But anyway, he says, "I want to send a special shout out to my Morehouse brother, Samuel Jackson, who started this Super Bowl halftime extravaganza as Uncle Sam. And you might have seen him as Dolomites in Chirac. Now, Chirac definitely got mixed reviews, mostly negative, but he absolutely did play that character in that movie. The term 40 acres and a mule was a proposal for reparations to former enslaved African Americans in the aftermath of the Civil War. The proposal was intended to provide land and resources to help free people achieve economic independence. This promise was ultimately broken. Happy Black, her story." And I would say his and her story because, of course, when we say his story, that typically is focused on the men, but the women are just as important. And I appreciate him for putting that in there. So that's Spike Lee giving a shout out to both Kendrick Lamar and Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson has come out and expressed gratitude for being a part of the show as well. So, most of the people that I've seen that have been supportive of this performance have been folks that I kind of expected to. Now, there have been some unexpected hate. I heard that my boy Big Gip from Goody Mob was downplaying it. I didn't understand that. That was actually pretty disappointing as an Atlanta artist that looked up to the whole Goody. He's entitled to his own opinion or whatever, but very disappointing nonetheless, especially when I'm sure Kendrick would literally say that y'all played a part in, his influence growing up, especially with his affinity for Outkast and Andre 3K. Y'all were right there with them. But I'll digress on that. But I do want to say salute to the people that got it, that understood the performance, and those of us that have continued to live with the performance since then. As a matter of fact, the stats have been turned in, and I guess they're trying to say that this is the most viewed ever. So according to Rock Nation, they say that the views thus far, right, and just keep in mind, thus far, because they typically include social media and some other things like that afterwards. But to now, they tallied 133.5 million halftime show viewers, the most watched halftime show ever, and they experienced a 3% increase versus last year. So sorry, Usher, but we had to up the ante, right? I even saw a graphic on Twitter earlier today where they ranked the best halftime shows of all time. This is The Athletic. They have Prince at number 1. They've got Dr. Dre and the Ensemble featuring Kendrick Lamar at number 2. So, I mean, damn, how many people, have that to their belt? They have the YouTube performance at number 3. They have Kendrick Lamar at number 4. Beyonce number 5. Michael Jackson number 6. Wow. Bruno Mars and the Red Hot Chili Peppers 7. And they've got that tied at 7. Since when we do that? With Shakira, Bad Bunny, and J Lo. Number 9, Madonna, Nicki Minaj, MIA, LMFAO, and CeeLo Green. That was quite a ensemble there. And number 10, Rihanna. Now I'm going to say I would probably put Beyonce a bit higher than that. I would put Mike Jackson a bit higher than that too. You two, y'all got to come the fuck down. But nonetheless, that's the Athletics list. And I think most people would probably put Kendrick's up there anyway, regardless of how we would debate the rest of the positions. It's got to be in that top 5. I ain't going to lie to y'all. There's no other Super Bowl that I've gone back and watched as many times as this one. I've replayed this Super Bowl performance probably 10 times minimum since. You know what I'm saying? I watched it some yesterday. I watched it a couple more times today before I even got on here. Because, again, as a rapper, as a hip-hop artist, as somebody who's taking notes and paying attention to the craft, that's in love with the craft, what he did is a display of hip-hop that we've never seen before. He's done it on other stages. He's done it on the Grammy stage. He's done it on late night stage. He's done it on, Jimmy Fallon. He's done it on Colbert. He's done it on numerous other televised opportunities, BET Awards, what have you. But the Super Bowl trumps all of that. And I hate to even use that clown's name, but that's just the word. It supersedes all those things. Let me correct myself. And he still held it down. He kept it true to his roots. He kept it true to himself. And he put on a powerful piece of performance art that I don't think we're ever going to see duplicated. It'll take a long time. It'll take for a whole new artist that's on some whole other shit to go up there from the rap hip hop perspective to do something like that. I think we need to definitely show a bit more appreciation for what he did. And I think in time, this thing is going to be seen way more favorably than it is at this current time with all the, the Drake Karens out there and the OV hoes trying to downplay its importance and all that good stuff. But, there's video floating around that Drake's team had to tune in and see what was going on. I'm like, who the fuck was recording them while they was watching it? What were they doing? Taking notes for another lawsuit? What's going on here? And because I know there's some people out there that only respect the numbers, they want to see the metrics, they want to see the impact. Oh, I didn't like the show, blah, blah, blah. Well, let's get into how all of these, the performance that Kendrick did, how all of his catalog has been impacted since then. All right. According to Talk of the Charts, this is one of the Twitter channels out there that actually gives us up to the date updates about performance of artists, songs, albums, etc. They say all of Kendrick Lamar's studio albums are charting inside the top 25 of U.S. iTunes following Super Bowl halftime show. At number 1 is GNX, the new album. The album that houses most of the songs that he performed on Sunday. GNX number 1. Number 2, Damn, of course, because a couple of records from Damn got played out there as well. You got Good Kid, Mad City at number 4. You got To Pimp a Butterfly at number 5. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers number 8. Section 80 is at number 23. And y'all know Section 80 was released independently by TDE back in the G. And that's even back up there. Untitled Unmastered is also on the charts at number 33. So although it may sit outside of that top 25 chart, Untitled Unmastered, which was essentially To Pimp a Butterfly throwaways and you know, kind of outtakes afterwards, that project is in the top 50, right? So let's not talk no more stuff about, oh, that wasn't the right performance. He wasn't the right person to do it. Oh, I don't like this. I didn't like that. He should have did the other shit. Well, guess what? Niggas went back and played that other shit anyway. And that ain't the end of it. Kendrick Lamar now holds the all-time record for most monthly listeners for a hip-hop artist in Spotify history. He surpasses Drake. So even Drake's most coveted position of being the most streamed person, hip-hop artist ever, that has now been dissipated. Now, of course, I think they're going to go back and forth moving forward. I don't see this being an infinite thing for Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Because Drake typically plays the streaming game and his fans are huge streaming fans and stuff like that. But I could see this for the foreseeable future, them kind of being interchangeable in that spot. But what better punch to the gut than to take all of this man's most prized possessions, most coveted positions in the industry, Mr. Numbers Guy, Mr. I've did everything, Mr. I'm bigger than Michael Jackson, I'm everybody's favorite even when you don't like me. Well, you don't even have that to call home about no more. And Kendrick Lamar is now battling with himself for number one on next week's Hot 100. And we're talking about Billboard. We're not talking about iTunes. We're talking about the Billboard chart. So Not Like Us and Luther featuring SZA are both challenging for the number one spot. He's literally about to be number one by hook or by crook. One or the other, which means he's probably going to take number one and number two. Right? Now, of course, Not Like Us was already a number one song. And some fans out there would love to see Luther go number one. So that just puts another number one under his belt for a new song rather than Not Like Us returning back to the position. Either way it goes, it's a win. They also state that he and SZA also occupy the entire top 6 on Spotify. So again, if you feel like this performance wasn't impactful, who cares? He's already surpassed everybody in being the most viewed halftime show of all time, which the previous throne was Michael Jackson. It's now Kendrick Lamar. The most streamed hip hop artist ever was Drake. It's now Kendrick Lamar. And almost a year later, we've got this song, Not Like Us, potentially about to re-enter at number one, or Luther, which again is a win either way. So let's silence all the BS about what he should have done, could have done, because what he did clearly hit the mark for what it was intended to do. We also talked about that person that jumped out of the dance group in all black that had the Sudan and Palestine thing on the flag, the protester guy. Well, you know, they tackled him, they took him, they detained him. They said that he was banned for life from all football games, stadiums, etc. Well, he's actually got an interview now where he talks about his experience, why he did it, and how he feels about the consequences that have been handed to him since that happened. Let's go ahead and pull it up.
I felt I didn't have a choice because I was selected to be a part of the halftime show, and when I saw what my position was, you know, it was a great stage, a large stage, and we know as a practicing Muslim, our Prophet Muhammad teaches us if you see a wrongdoing or you're aware of a wrongdoing, you must stop it with your hands, and if you can't stop it with your hands, stop it with your tongue, speak out against it, and if you can't stop it with your tongue, try to stop it with your heart, meaning pray about it. And we know that's the weakest of faith. So I had an opportunity on a grand scale to bring awareness or speak out against a wrong of our Muslim brothers and sisters, because we know if one part of the body is hurting, all of the body is hurting. This ummah is one body. So I didn't want to face my creator and not with a sign of weak faith. when I knew I had an opportunity to show I didn't have weak links.
So let me ask you, do you have any cultural or family links to either Palestine or Sudan, or was this purely a gesture of humanity and support for those affected by these wars?
Humanitarian. Yeah, humanitarian. I'm a humanitarian and I'm a Muslim. So we're spiritually connected in Islam, and we're human. We're connected with empathy for humanity because we're all human beings, God's creation, and they're oppressed. And we know God answers the prayers of the oppressed. They are suffering. They're treated with injustice, and it's on a wide scale, and nobody is really giving it the light that it should get, at least working toward a change. And I wanted to show the solidarity to those afflicted by this and their families and loved ones, that they're being remembered here in America. And they're being remembered here in America, not just by me, but by others. And it'll strengthen all of our faith. It was not about a countryman. It was more about spiritual.
Okay, let me jump in and ask you, I mean, do you think the protest or your protest is likely to damage your career? Are you worried you may find it difficult to get work again, given what happened?
I trust in God, brother. I wanted to pass that. I fear God more than I fear man. I fear loss of wealth. I fear loss of anything else. I fear losing the pleasure of Allah. And it was clear to me with the signs of the show that Kendrick had the American flag and human bodies. He had his PG Lane flags. And it was also many signs for me to show those flags to show how we're all connected.
Yes, because I think you mentioned in a previous interview that Kendrick Lamar was a source of influence for your protest at halftime. So what was it about Lamar that you drew inspiration from?
It wasn't a source of inspiration. I believe I was inspired by a creator, but he was confirmation. Seeing his show, when him talking about the revolution being televised, him having scenes where the American flag is made in a human formation, him having his own company's flags flying around. I saw those all as signs for me to incorporate the flag. Him having Samuel L. Jackson playing Uncle Sam, the whole theme being conscious, revolutionary, to make one's consciousness rise and show unification of people. And I thought that I could contribute to taking it to the next level with this activism and protest and enlightenment to make other people aware of what's going on in other parts of the world. A lot of people didn't know what was going on in Gaza. A lot of people didn't know what was going on in Sudan, and they feel like they're not being represented properly. So I had the opportunity to represent them on a global scale, and I had to take that opportunity.
Yeah, and
just even to get the prayers of the people.
Okay,
it was worth it just to get the prayers of the Palestinian and the Sudanese.
Yeah, in response to your protest, the NFL says you'll now be banned for life from all NFL stadiums, from all events. What's your response to the ban, and would you still have done it if you'd known the risks?
The risk of a ban? I was afraid I was going to get sniped by a Secret Service's bullet. I can watch a football program on the television if I choose to, sir. And I don't like large crowds anyway.
Okay, all right. Zulkarnain Nantumba, really good to get your thoughts and to tell us about what happened to you there at the halftime. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Thank you.
Wait, can I tell your people to follow us on FFF_Zulkarnain, please?
Fantastic.
An open book platform.
Fantastic. We'll do that.
All right, so that's Zulkarnain Nantumba. All right, he came out. He did his active protest at the Super Bowl halftime show. Went rogue during Kendrick's performance, or at least that's what we know it to be. I don't know if that was behind the scenes a conversation, and maybe he's just taking all of the blame on it, so he doesn't put no smut on Kendrick's name, as he would say, or if this was completely just his own thing. I don't know. Whether he gets booked again to be a part of anything else related to Kendrick Lamar in the future, I don't know. But based on the smile that he's got at the end of this video, it seems to him it was all worth it nonetheless. He doesn't care about being banned. He said, if I want to see a football game, I could watch it from home. He wasn't going to be buying none of them motherfucking tickets. No way. And I feel you, brother. So there's that. Let me know what y'all think of all of this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one, man. Much love and respect. Y'all be good out there. I'll be back with some more content for y'all in a little bit. All right? Peace.
king of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming, I swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda, we hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer, we come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest, but drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they died of me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far.